Just finished reading this book by McLaughlin called Confronting Christianity. 12 Hard Questions for the World's Largest Religion. And it's a great book. Don't normally talk about the front cover and things, but it's worth pointing out that the 12 questions are kind of symbolised here by 12 circles, which make a kind of form of a cross, don't they? With the see, it fits over like that to make a nice little pattern, which is quite cool. And it's hardback as well. Now, the benefits of having a hardback book, by the way, is you don't need a bookmark, because you can just, wherever you're up to, you can just flip that little thing over there, and there you go. You can start from wherever you're up to using that sleeve. I'm going to read the 12 chapter headings because I think it'll make you want to buy the book, because these are some great questions that I'm sure you want answers to. It's a great book for a Christian to be able to answer these questions to a non-Christian, and it's a great book for a non-Christian to read, because these will be some of your questions and they're answered really well. So chapter 1, for example, is aren't we better off without religion? Chapter 2, doesn't Christianity crush diversity? Question 3, how can you say there's only one true faith? Chapter 4, doesn't religion hinder morality? Chapter 5, doesn't religion cause violence? Chapter 6, how can you take the Bible literally? Chapter 7, hasn't science disproved Christianity? Chapter 8, doesn't Christianity denigrate women? Chapter 9, isn't Christianity homophobic? By the way, my two favourite chapters are chapter 8 and chapter 9. Chapter 8, doesn't Christianity denigrate women? Because it shows just how beneficial Christianity was to women. And how, obviously, we're putting our 21st century spectacles on the situation and on the Bible, but the Bible and Christianity did more for women than any other religion. And in fact, it was a criticism of Christianity in the early days, in that how it appealed to women and children. And that was one of the things that some historians criticise, which is crazy now, isn't it, looking it back. And the other favourite chapter is chapter 9, which I think is a fantastic treatment of the whole homosexual issue. And she speaks from a personal point of view, which makes it really relevant, and she brings her own understanding to that situation from her own battles. So if anyone has been battling with such things, I really recommend you particularly read that chapter. So it's really, really well put, well reasoned, and I don't think you can argue really with the logic behind it. So that's chapter 9. And then chapter 10 is, doesn't the Bible condone slavery? Chapter 11, how could a loving God allow so much suffering? And chapter 12, how could a loving God send people to hell? Now, these are some of the burning questions that people have, and so she picked the best 12 questions, I think, really, and put them into a book, and I really recommend reading it. I'm just going to read a little bit of one of the chapters. How could a loving God allow so much suffering? And this is what she quotes a friend whose teenage son was brain damaged in a sport accident, who shared his perspective on suffering like this. He said, people often think that the reality of suffering is an embarrassment to the Christian faith, but I think suffering is the greatest apologetic for Christianity there is. And then Rebecca goes on to add to this, from an atheist perspective, not only is there no hope of a better end to the story, there is no ultimate story. There is nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. From a Christian perspective, there is not only hope for a better end, there is intimacy now with the one whose resurrected hands still bear the scars of the nails that pinned him to his cross. Suffering is not an embarrassment to the Christian faith. It is the thread with which Christ's name is stitched into our lives. So this is beautifully put. And if you can get hold of one of these books, I really recommend you have a good read of it.